Hey guys, welcome back once again to Niagara Fire Corals. I had a great suggestion come in from Bryce Nelson. Shout out to you, Bryce. He asked to see my coral show prep. So that's what we're going to cover today, so make sure you stick with me. All right guys, first we'll start out with, I personally take 2 frag tanks with me. The one on my right here is 30 inches by 24 by 8. And the one on my left is 20 by 20 by 10 inches deep. The reason I take 2 frag tanks with me is because I put all my kind of standard frags in here, SPS, things of that nature. And in this one over here, I put a lot of miscellaneous things, hammers, softies. I have multiple, like, 3-inch disc colonies I'll be selling. Things like that will go in this one here because it takes up too much space in this one. And, I'm using these racks here. So you want to fit as many plugs as you can into these racks, and things like that take up a ton of space. That's why they'll go in this one. So next to the frag tanks, again, racks. I have this tank here is completely full of them. And then I'll have a few extra ones that'll go in this tank here as well, for anything that I don't want sitting directly on the bottom. Next thing that I make sure that I have for both tanks, I can't remove the one from this tank because it was extremely difficult to get it in there, but I have a pump in here that's going to circulate my water. And then I have everything that I need down here. And then I have my second pump here. Second pump here, that'll be for this tank here for the circulation in this one. So I have 2 pumps. We will water check, make sure that they're working properly a little later in this video. Next to that, obviously, heaters. I have 1 heater for each tank. I also bring 1 additional heater as well, besides these 2, and it'll be in a bucket on the floor, always keeping water that I top up these tanks with during the show. It'll be keeping that water at temp for me as well. So 3 heaters and 2 pumps so far. And then because this tank, I'm gonna have a bunch of miscellaneous things, I like to use one of these little carbon reactors. I just stick it here in the back. It does come with its own little pump. It's from Innovative Marine. These are awesome little units. You just throw it on the back. The little pump will be mounted inside, and that'll keep your water crystal clear and kind of help you from any kind of chemical warfare between the corals that'll be mixed up in this tank here. Okay, now that we have our tanks covered, we have our heat sources covered, we have carbon for this tank, we have pumps, so we have water movement in both tanks. Next, of course, is your lighting. So the bigger tank here, I'll be running the Kessels that you saw me do an earlier video on. The Kessels will be in this tank. And then I'm going to be running an AI Prime in this one here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set these lights up on the actual tanks. We're going to fire them up. We'll make sure that the lights are all working properly. Last thing you want to do is get to a coral show and your lights don't work. So just give me a few minutes here. I'm going to get the lights set up on these tanks. We'll get them fired up and we'll make sure they're working. Okay guys, so as you can see, we have the lights I'm going to be using at the show. This is a AI Prime 16 HD, and of course the 2 Kessels 160s that I did a unboxing and review for, say, a month back. The Prime is already on because it's controlled from my phone. So that's on, totally controllable from my phone at the show if I want to change the spectrums or anything along those lines. And of course, the Kessels, super easy. Turn them on, I want to change the spectrums like I've shown in the videos, I can do that. So that's lighting. So we know our lights work. We're going to test the heaters when I do a water test on these tanks, simply because I haven't used either one of these tanks in a couple of years because of the coronavirus. So there wasn't too many shows going on, so I will water test them. We'll test the heaters and the pumps at that time. We'll do that a little later in the video. Of course, you want everything to look clean. So I bring a big whack of zip ties. That way I'll be able to, you know, run the wire nice and clean like this along the goosenecks or the brackets, so we can keep everything looking nice and neat. And as well, you gotta have your pricing tags. If I can get some out, nice fluorescent pricing tags. I have a couple of bags full of these. So you put these in your tank, you know, around the coral that you're selling, give people an idea on the pricing. And I got a couple of these big giant bobby pins, and they will be what holds up my banner that you guys have seen in all my previous videos. That'll hold my banner up across the front of my table in front of the tanks here. I will also have some stickers I'll be giving away to people at the show. That's about it, guys. There's oh, one last thing. If you're coming to the show, you got to watch for the notorious squid hat that I wear at coral shows. See if it still works. I haven't even checked it. Yep, still works. So we'll be wearing this squid hat, of course, during the show. Like to stand out from the rest. All right, so I'm going to take these tanks into the next room, into the sump room, and we'll water test them, and we'll check our pumps, and we'll check our heaters now. Okay, guys, so we're in the sump room now. Here's pail number 1. So what I'm going to do now is just simply fill these pails up one at a time and fill up both frag tanks for 2 reasons. One, I want to water check them. Obviously, I want to make sure I don't have any issues before getting to the show. And the second reason, it's been so long, I don't remember exactly how much water it takes to fill both tanks. So I have to make sure I bring enough water to the show to fill both tanks and have water to top those tanks off as I sell corals during the day. So let's get to filling these tanks up. Okay guys, so we're looking at a total of a little over 6 5-gallon pails of water to fill the 2 tanks. So that tells me I'll be bringing 9 pails of salt water to the show with me. That'll make sure I have enough for bagging coral all day and to keep both tanks full. Next, we'll fire up both pumps. We'll make sure that they're working. I'm just gonna move you guys here. I shouldn't forget to tell you, make sure that you got a big power bar as well that you're taking with you. So I can see the big tank now, the pump's flowing. All right, so there we go. We got flow in both tanks. We know both pumps are working. That's perfect. Now I'll just grab those heaters, put them in, make sure they're working. I just picked these heaters up off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. They're fairly inexpensive. I think they were like $20 or $25, 100-watt heaters. But I have not used them yet, so I want to make sure that they're working. They are a pretty nice looking heater though. Okay, so I'll get these heaters in and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, so we're back. I got both heaters in the tanks. I threw the one in the small tank just in the main portion of the tank. Obviously during the show it'll be in the back where you won't be able to see it like I did with the bigger tank. But I'm just gonna check, make sure that they're actually working. So the heaters are working. I will leave them in there for a while, just make sure that they work properly. But I want to point out one thing. You want to make sure whatever power bar that you're using for the show that obviously has enough outlets for what you require. So with me running 2 tanks, I got a power bar that has 10 outlets on it. And as you can see, I have 4 in use right now just for the 2 pumps and the 2 heaters. I have an additional heater that'll be heating a separate pail, which will be 5. Then I have the 3 lights, 6, 7, and 8. I have the carbon reactor is 9. That leaves me with 1 extra plug in case I need it. So we're gonna leave this sit for a while now, make sure those heaters are working. And then we'll come back and I'll go over the final step with you guys. Okay guys, so it's been a couple of hours. Everything's fine with the tanks, no issues, no leaks. Pumps are still running fantastic and the heaters are both working just fine. So I'm confident now that I have good tanks. I have heaters that are working properly, pumps that are working properly. I have good lighting for the tanks. I'm in good shape come the show, and I also know how many pails of water I need to bring. So that's pretty well my prep for the show. We're a week out now. As you can see, frag tanks are just full. We're doing great. I'm at the point now where I'm actually putting frags in my display tank because I'm running out of room. So I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys. It's going to be an awesome show. The last thing I'm going to do with these tanks now is I'm going to drain them out, and then I'm going to give them a thorough cleaning because they were sitting for a couple of years. You know, they're dusty, dirty, so I'm going to get them cleaned up nice and spotless for the show, and then we'll be good to go. And I look forward to seeing you guys in about a week's time for anybody that shows up. So make sure you guys remember, if you come to my booth at the Coral Expo and you prove to me or you show me that you are a subscriber of this YouTube channel, you'll get 20% off anything you purchase from me that day. I'd like to put out a special thank you once again to Bryce Nelson for the video suggestion. Anybody else out there have any video suggestions, just throw them in the comments below, and I'll make sure I give you a shout out on the video if I end up doing it. Okay guys, don't forget that in one of my upcoming videos, I'm going to be setting up some type of giveaway for one of my Niagara Fire Corals t-shirts, as well as a couple of Niagara Fire Corals stickers. So make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm putting out new content. And until the next time guys, take care and happy reefing.